All right, welcome to the latest episode of the Colman Organic Fitness Podcast. I'm here in the urban Keep Up, and I was told not to leave until I talk to this woman, Tracy, here right now. So, Tracy, I suppose give the listeners a little bit of a background of who you are and what you do.
Okay, so my name is Tracy Dunhue. I'm from Limerick City, originally born and bred, and I trained as a therapist about 20 odd years ago. Before that, I spent about 25 years working as a chef. So a huge interest in nutritional background, personal trainer, that kind of stuff. So I do many different types of therapies, from Thai massage, sports injuries, A&P, dry needling, cupping, Vedic medicine, Vedic practices, varying different therapies. So about a year and a half ago, it was kind of in COVID, that I started looking at the way we deliver therapies. And I have a strong connection with community. My family are very much Limerick City based, and my grandmother and my dad and I would be very much involved in community projects. So I do understand the power of community, and I do think that working within the community really helps to empower each other. So also looking at therapies as well, one-to-one therapies for a lot of people are really expensive. So you're looking at anything 50, 60, 70, 80 plus onwards. Now, if you're somebody who's in pain and you can't work, and you can't afford to get the treatment because maybe you're not able to work, so you're not getting your full wage, and you also have children, this now is impacting on yourself, it's impacting on your children, your family, your community, and everybody around you. So I felt that was a very unfair way of looking at what we deliver as therapists. Now I can understand why therapists charge what they do, because we spend a long time at work, our fees are extremely expensive. We were looking at books this morning that were like 120 quid each just for buying our books for college. But on the other side, I do strongly believe in the community power, and tapping into that, we set up the community clinics. So the community clinics are open every Friday, and we open the doors at 10 a.m. and the last walk-in is at 6:30 in the evening, because we close the doors at 7:30. So we are a multidisciplinary clinic for the community. So it's a community of one project run by a community of therapists. So we have come together to offer therapies at a reduced rate price for the community. And our tagline is "We Empower Change." And our college tagline is "Empowering Change," because now we're actively involved in that empowering. So the "We Empower Change" tagline is for people to come in and to get treatment, to better themselves, to feel better mentally, physically, emotionally about themselves, to help to learn either to manage their pain or rid their body of pain. So they're now more active in the community. So when people say to us, I now feel so much better, what can I do? Go tell somebody. Go and get somebody else for a walk. Take somebody for a swim. Babysit somebody's kids, spread that ripple effect throughout the community and empower other people to be able to come to us and be able to repeat that. So we have one part of the community at the moment, they all come in as a group, which is amazing. So the grandmother comes in and gets her treatment, and then she leaves, and about an hour later, her son comes in because she's gone home to mind his kids. She wasn't able to do previously. Now the son comes in to get treatment. He's managing pain to get back to work, and he's almost back to work. And the effect they're saying that's having on their children is absolutely empowering. The quality of life is better, they're more active with their children, and the children are going to school happier people. I'm sure that's the next generation. So it's affordable. So we charge 35 euros for a full treatment session. Now the full treatment session is roughly 2 to 3 disciplines. So it's a multidisciplinary clinic. So it doesn't work on you coming in saying, I'd like an hour massage, or I want an hour of acupuncture. We decide for you what is the best treatment based on where you are on that day. So that changes every week because we're constantly changing ourselves. So we find the weak links, and then we get in and we'll get the therapist to help with that weak link. So we make you stronger, more empowered, you spread that into the community. And then we also have the college and the training center. So we would sometimes have clients who would come in and go, God, I'd love to be able to learn how to massage or do acupuncture or do Reiki, or we'll say, okay, well then the training center. So they start off as clients in the clinic that may be struggling with life. They find better ways to manage their pain or their distress. They now feel better, they're more empowered, but now they want to be able to pass that on to somebody else. So then they come to the training center and they learn to become a therapist of a particular discipline. So now they're back in the community clinic as therapists. And it's quite funny when we have regulars coming in going, were you not on the couch beside me a few weeks ago? To go, well, yeah, I'm actually in the college, I'm here doing my work experience. So they're all flashing the t-shirt. So it is spreading that throughout the community, and it's all about positive change. So we also have a radio station a radio show, that we sponsor. And on a weekly basis, we invite people from the community to come and tell the story. The story of positive change, or things that they might have decided to get involved in another community project or set one up, or simply, we had one lady a few weeks ago who was struggling to walk. She's in her mid-70s. So she lives on her own. Her quality of life was hugely impacted because she wasn't able to go on her daily walk. We got her up walking again. She's actually back swimming now. So she's now in the community taking people swimming with her. So these are the stories we love to hear. So we invite people on the radio to tell their stories of positive change, and that helps people who may be sitting at home in pain, looking for ways to manage how they're feeling mentally, emotionally, or physically.
And who are the people that I suppose that you have come into currents with? What ages are they made? Probably more male or more female, and what are the common issues? Either it be lower back pain, we were touching on there earlier, which is actually linked to something else.
Oh yeah, massively. Yeah, we get people from across the board. We have children coming into us as small as 3 and 4. We have 2 youngsters come in, they're 9 and 10. They now plan with their parents to come in at the same time so they can hang out. So there's a social aspect to it, and right up to, I think our oldest client is in her 90s. So it's varying across the board. We also get a lot of sports people coming as well, because we do have a good handful of sports injury therapists like myself. So it's across the board. The commonalities, I suppose, people may initially come into us would be physical pain, musculoskeletal pain, or anxiety. They're the 2 things that we would notice would be apparent on the consultation form. Now, when somebody fills out a consultation form with us, it's kept private and confidential. It's kept between the therapist, it's put into a locked filing cabinet. So just in case you are visiting the clinics and you think, is everybody going to read this or not? This is strictly only for the therapist, and we have a code of conduct. We cannot divulge or talk about that outside the clinics. So anxiety.
That's very common right now, anxiety and depression. How do you deal with all the issues with people coming into yourselves?
So we do have counsellors on our team. So we have a team of 24 therapists of mixed disciplines. We do have counsellors and psychotherapists on the team. If we feel that it is a strong personal issue, we would request that as a one-to-one outside the clinic. So we wouldn't be discussing that in the clinics, because the clinic is an open clinic. And other times it is a simple thing of releasing tension that somebody might be holding in the body. So we do have days where there's a lot of tears. An example is I had a lady in a while back, pains in her shoulders, and as I'm massaging, she's getting really angry. I'm like, where is this anger coming? She was like, I really don't know, I'm so sorry, I just feel really angry. I said, okay, let's trace this back. When were your shoulders started getting sore? When were you getting the neck pain? She said, I remember it was one Friday evening. And she said, now that I remember it, she said, I was unloading the shopping out of the car, and I looked in the front window and I saw my husband and the kids watching TV. Nobody helped me. I was so annoyed. She said, I just threw the shopping on the ground. And the next day I had all this tension. So as we're massaging and releasing it, all of that comes to the surface. So that's an emotional release for somebody with physical pain. And she was as right as rain afterwards. And not everybody has that easy story. Some people, there is a lot more deep-rooted impacts in life that has affected them.
Yeah, that's just one of the lighter stories. That's important, yeah. And I suppose I'd be a major believer for someone that grows his own fruits and vegetables.
Yes.
Food being medicine, I suppose. How do you approach that with people who come into contact with
you? So food as medicine would be a big thing, because
I love it.
I study Ayurvedic medicine. Yeah. So it's food as medicine and herbs as medicine. So I give regular talks, one next Tuesday on, so I change with the season. So Ayurvedically we have 6 seasons. So every season we should change how we're eating, what we're eating, when we're eating, and how we mix it. So sometimes it is, I'm not going to say simply, but sometimes it's talking to somebody about the diet, and I'm realizing they're eating out of season. So this time of year we shouldn't be having gluten. So the microbes that are in your gut, we have roughly 20 to 30,000 varieties of microbes in our gut. But they're not awake all year round. It would be very busy small intestine. So the microbes that digest gluten go to sleep at this time of year. So I would have people coming into the clinic going, oh God, I think I'm allergic. I think I'm celiac, or I'm allergic to gluten. Or I'm like, really? So tell me about it. Well, I'm having my toast for breakfast, and I'm having more gluten at lunchtime, more in the evening. So look, just take out the gluten for this time of year, and let's replace it with bitters and your green vegetables and your green leaves. And suddenly their issue has resolved themselves. They don't technically have anything wrong. It was just they were eating too much of one type of food in the wrong type of year. So we have to eat within the season.
And then what type of carbohydrate? I'm mad about gut health. This is great. I'm glad we're touching on this. So for instance, right now you're taking out gluten out of your diet. What other carbohydrates are you more tending to?
Well, you see, here's the other thing. So this is also kappa time of year, you see. So we have different doshes for different seasons. And in certain seasons, so we're in now our Vedic cleanse season. So you know the term spring clean, people spring clean their houses. That came from our bodies. So our bodies naturally clean this time of year. We naturally do a spring cleanse. So you need to help your body with that spring cleanse. And it also gets rid of the heaviness of the winter time. So in the winter time, it's a lot of root vegetables, a lot of carbohydrates, it's grain loaded because we want to keep the heat up in our bodies. Sugar equals heat. There's a reason that root vegetables go in autumn and in early winter is to heat up the body to get you through a cold winter. We're now coming into spring, you need to dump a lot of that. So you need to get rid of the heaviness of the winter. So your body can actually survive on less carbs this time of year. Not saying you get rid of them, but less of them. So start easing off on your root vegetables. You could start bringing in the lighter grains like your amrits, your quinoas. So you can start mixing those, go for your white rice, not your brown rice, because it's too heavy this time of year. But you need less portion size of your carbs. Bulk up on your green vegetables and your bitters. Start getting your digestive enzymes kind of flourishing, get in your like fresh pineapple first thing in the morning, get in your astrophidia, start frying that, which is full of probiotics. So you can start feeding your body what it needs now to support the cleanse. It's like this is time of year now, first thing in the morning, I'll be having my apple cider vinegar with my lukewarm water with lemon down the hatch because I'm helping, my liver's already cleansing. Now I'm just supporting it with the cleanse. So this time of year, you should find you naturally drop a little bit of body weight. You might have a few more bowel movements. You might be peeing a little bit more because your body is cleaning. So don't be freaking out if that has happened. It's what your body is naturally doing this time of year. But the best thing to do is to support it. Get in loads of your greens. It's bitter season. What's bitter? Green cabbage, kale, spinach, all of the green.
Rocket, arugula, all those
there
things.
You go.
Yeah.
They're all bitter. And this time of the year, we need that to support our cleanse. Your green apples, throw in a bit of pineapple, because pineapple is full of digestive enzymes. Have that early in the morning. But start supporting your body's natural cleanse for this time of year. And you'll find if you're somebody who suffers from inflammation, especially in Ireland, we have osteoarthritis, which is in our genes. We can't help it. It's with us. In the summertime, people have got inflammatory osteoarthritis where there's a buildup of heat and they're getting pain from too much heat. If they don't support the spring cleanse now, by the time summer comes, when we have an extra bit of heat, if they have an extra bit of inflammation, they're going to suffer a little bit more in the summertime. So get your body ready now and it'll see you through the season. And every time we get a seasonal change your food, change what you're eating, how you're eating. We're still not ready for raw yet. So I've talked to a few people recently, especially after Christmas, people go on these mad cleanses and salads. And I'm like, oh my God, it's freezing outside. What are you trying to tell your body? Your body is trying to retain heat and you're putting cold food in. You're putting raw food in, which is not supporting your body system. So we're not ready for the raw food yet. Look outside, it's still cold. It's when the temperature starts to rise, your food now starts getting into the raw, salady summer food, the still spring season. So if you're having all those greens, throw them into your smoothie, which you'll have to break them down in a little bit of hot water on top of it, or start using your spices like your gingers, your cinnamon, your cardamoms, which are heating. So you can have food at a cool temperature, but it's still heating in the body.
Love it. I'm absolutely amazed. Right? Are there protein foods that you recommend? We talked about a little bit about carbohydrates. Then are there protein more so than other? And I'm not trying to force you. I'm not a vegan or vegetarian. I'm going to go, there won't be daggers coming up to the doors. Like, Tracy said, we have to have this protein.
Well, anyone who knows me well knows I am an extreme, Len laughs about it, I'm an extremely staunch vegan. And I have been for most of my life. And that's my own belief. And this is a completely non-judgmental space. And there is times in the clinic, I recommend people to have red meat. I recommend people to have fish because my belief is for myself. I have my own beliefs around that. But if you're somebody who's emaciated, who's had an illness that you've been weakened and your whole system has been weakened, or like anemia, for example, where the energy is low, the body metabolism is low, then you do need the red meat to give it that sort of a boost. But again, think at the time of the season, where this is getting rid of the heaviness season. Do you want to be throwing tamasic? Red meat is tamasic. So tamasic means grounding heavy. We don't need that this time of year. You're trying to get rid of that. So go to your lighter, if you eat meat, go to your lighter white meat, your lighter fishes, but don't forget your oils this time of year. You need to support the oils, but not too much. Kaffa is naturally oily. So you want to make sure you don't get too much oils into your body, but you do need a certain amount because fats make hormones. So if you're looking at people around you who are a little bit miserable, those grouchy people, I usually say to them, how much fat do you have? Because fat produces happy hormones. Are you getting enough fat into your diet? So
such as coconut oil or extra virgin olive oil or
cashew butters,
nuts,
avocado,
seeds.
nuts. Absolutely, you can make up your own, like even the vegan cheeses. You can throw in your cashews, blend them all up, get yourself a good blender, and make up your own kind of spreads with that. Great for like satay bases for curries and that as well. So you can have all your green leafy vegetables in with your kind of fatty sort of cashew kind of satay cream if you want for a curry. But just be careful you don't have too many fats this time of year. You need your fats, they're very important for your happy hormones, but just already heavy, and oil is heavy, so you just want to be careful. Now, coconut oil is extremely cooling, so I would go handy on the coconut oil this time of year. Bring up your sesame oils, your olive oils, your castor oils, things that are slightly more warming, because it's still cold outside. So get in your warm oils in moderation.
Love it. And I suppose I'd be stranger to the likes of tofu and tempeh, which are complete proteins and being fermented as well, good for your gut health.
Yeah.
All those things are key. It's just the fact that people are lost touch with what real food is, and they should always definitely focus in on high protein, high fiber, because those are two things that are satiating, good for your gut health. Like tempeh, when I was growing up, never even heard of it.
No, it wasn't around.
But the
biggest thing I'd say to people is, regardless of what you follow, whether you're keto, whether you're paleo, whether you're vegan, whether you're an omnivore, no matter what it is, listen to your body. So get a diary, and when you eat a meal, really sit down and listen to what is my body telling me? I feel really tired. Okay, well, if you're tired, there's something either wrong with what you've mixed together or your portion size is off. If you're energized, perfect. Food is meant to give you energy. If you're getting a slump after eating, there's something wrong with what's on your plate. And I think that's a big thing that we've lost, is that listening to what our body is telling us. And sometimes then, you're tired and you'll grab, I need something caffeinated, I need the sugar. Is that what your body really needs? Well, what did you have for breakfast? That your body's going,
didn't have it, really skipped it. Yeah, that often happens, a lot of people.
Intermittent fasting is fine as long as people aren't doing it all at the time. It's the long periods of intermittent fasting can interrupt, and people who are naturally CAFAs, the heavier type people in the world, they can naturally balance their hormones better with intermittent fasting. But if you're a Vata type person, so you're very thin, these like super energetic people who don't sit still, they're Vata type people. So they work better with more grounding, heavier type foods. I can keep talking about this stuff all day. So this time of year, we're in CAFA season, you're in spring cleanse season, get the food lighter, look at what's growing around you, and go online. Board Bia do like a seasonal vegetable chart, buy a chart and put on your fridge and have a look and go, okay, it's Christmas outside, it's snowing, should I have strawberries?
Yes.
No, common sense is, do they grow? Well, no, but then my microbes who digest strawberries are sound asleep. So don't have what's not in season. And that's kind of the rule of thumb. So I think if you listen to your body, get your seasonal chart, that is the basis for any good nutritional diet plan or food plan, if you want to put it together. Of course, people have underlying issues. People have IBS, leaky gut, stress. Remember, this is our first brain. So whatever's going on here is being dictated to our first brain down here, with a small and large intestine. Maybe it's just you have strong bouts of constipation. Maybe you're dehydrated. Just get rid of the constipation, get that flowing, start the body sweating. The sweating balances the hormones. So get your body sweating, learn to breathe out correctly, learn to defecate correctly, learn to pee correctly, stick to your nutritional food, listen to your body, can't go far wrong.
I suppose expand on those points. How do you go to the toilet correctly?
Bowel movement every single morning.
Every single day. And I want you to say that because a lot of people, I train people and they say, Colman, I'm now going once a day. And I was like, what are you doing once a day? They're like, I'm going to the toilet.
Well, where's all the waste going?
Yeah.
If you're not having a bowel movement, where's it going? And the thing about it is, right, very important to have a bowel movement first thing in the morning. And if people are struggling to rebalance, it's what you do at nighttime will dictate your morning bowel movement, not what you do in the morning. So the nighttime, crush up coriander seeds with warm water. And in the morning, just drink the water. That tells the intelligence of your large intestine. Now it's time to peristalsis and get that waste moving. But think about it, right? If you don't have a bowel movement first thing in the morning, that's waste. Right? There's nothing in it of value. All the nutrients are gone, unless you're low in digestive enzymes, which means you're just getting rid of all of your lovely organic food. You're not assimilating. It's a different story. Anyway, so you got your waste stuck in your large intestine, and that's sitting there all day. Two things happen. Number one, all of the water is taken out of it, which is going to make you feel more constipated. The other thing is that's going to give off gas, and that gas is going back into your system. Now we have the creaky joints. Now we've got the headaches, the skin outbreaks, the low energy, the high inflammation, the dehydration, the unable to process foods, because all of that waste is giving off toxins. So by getting the person to have at least one bowel movement in the morning, get them sitting correctly on the toilet, raise up their knees, open up the bowel.
Waste, yeah.
So when someone comes in talks to me about food as medicine, I talk about malas. So do they have a bowel movement? How many times do they pee? Do they sweat and do they breathe correctly? That's your malas. Align those and then see what happens.
What do you recommend for, I suppose, sweating? Do you recommend saunas? Do you recommend exercise retraining?
As Irish people get into a steam room, not a sauna, it's too dry. So as Irish people, we tend to have dry osteoarthritis. Again, it goes back to our ancestors where they lived in mud cabins and mud sheds, for example. So all of that damp is in our mitochondrial DNA. It's in our health DNA. Hence the reason we pass that down through the generations. So if you're somebody who has dry osteoarthritis, going into the sauna is going to dry it even more, but it raises your inflammation, which makes you pee more. So now you're thinking, hang on, but I'm drinking loads, I'm dry, but I'm peeing more. It's because the membranes are so dry from the sauna, the water can't actually get in and detoxify. Okay, so things like carrageen moss is great. Do a steam with carrageen moss, have a bath with carrageen moss, slime it all over you. And what it does is the membranes that trap in dryness or inflammation or toxins or even heat with the inflammatory conditions, it softens up that mucous membrane and out can come the toxins or whatever you're trying to get rid of. So as Irish people, I highly recommend steam rooms. So if I have a lady coming to me who's premenopausal and she's having hot sweats, she's sweating, having the hot sweats because her hormones are trying to balance. So what I say is, okay, you regulate the balancing of your hormones, get into your steam room, join the local gym, get into your steam room twice a day, morning and evening. So you tell your hormones when you want to regulate. Don't be waiting for hot flush to come. So now she goes in, her hormones are regulating and that stops the hot flushes. Then you can add things like red clover and white sage and stuff as well. But it's now she's regulating her hormones as opposed to her body doing the hot flushes, trying to tell her, can you please regulate your hormones? And again, we're not listening to our bodies.
Yeah, that's great. I suppose literally telling people how to, suppose, live a healthier lifestyle with these practices. I love what you've incorporated in there. Definitely the MASS. I'll be writing that in the show notes as well. That's a simple, great thing. And the idea of regulating your hormones, setting your, I suppose, sleep is another thing.
Oh my God, yeah.
Massive. Like I'm a firm believer in, like, we wear my blue light blocking glasses, rising with the sun at different times of the year. Watch
sunrise this morning. Oh
amazing!
My God, it was amazing. I woke up by reviling. I have a campus. I was wearing the campus class with me. And I opened up the door this morning at 10 to 6. The sun was rising over the water. Oh my God! It was just sitting out there. You know, I was doing my whole vitamin D thing. I wasn't kind of completely starkers for most people.
That's okay. You haven't exposed anything here. No video.
Well, you know, as Jack Poo says, you know, you have to be 15 minutes completely starkers in that pinnacle of sunlight in the morning to get any form of vitamin D. Anyway, sleep, absolutely. Different people need different amounts of sleep, and that's okay too. And again, it's listening to your body. So kapha, heavier type people, and I'm not talking about heavy of shape, I'm talking about heaviness of the mind, heaviness of the heart. They can do with less sleep. They can actually manage quite well with 4, 5, 6 hours sleep. And you see that with monks of different sizes. Your vata type person, they're adrenaline junkies. They just burn through their energy. They need longer bouts of sleep. Pittas in the middle. Pittas are like I talk of doshas like vatas, like helium balloons. They're like the artists of the world. They're not on the least bit grounded. They bounce from project to project and they're all over the place. And it's like, oh, that's a great idea. But, oh, look at that fluffy and shiny, and off they go. That's the vata type person. The pitta is like the steam engine. Get out of my way, I'm coming through. I don't want to listen to you. I'm on a plan here. And you burn yourself out. So, and then kaphas would be, to me, kaphas are like a heavy, compassionate elephant. They're very compassionate, love hugs, love family, but they're not really bothered about kind of getting on in life. They just have different priorities. So the 3 different doshas need different amounts of sleep, food, different people, different colors, different environments, and work better in different weathers. So if you're somebody who manages 4 or 5 hours sleep and people say to you, oh, but you need your 7 or 8, maybe you actually don't. Get yourself examined as in, do a dosha quiz. Maybe if you are a kapha, you manage quite well like that. But if you are the kapha who's getting 10 or 12 hours sleep, something's wrong. And that's your indication of maybe I need to get something checked. But trying to regulate sleep is so important because as you're asleep at nighttime, 10 to 2, your digestive system is cleaning. 2 to 4, your kidneys. You're talking about your 4, 6 o'clock up into 8 o'clock is when your liver, your lungs, and the mucousy water type ones are cleaning. So if you're disrupting that, you're disrupting your cleansing process. And as we said earlier, cleansing is so important.
It's part of the 24-hour cycle that literally
Massive. So
most people are trying to cut it out.
Absolutely, yeah. So nutmeg is an actual sleeping tablet. Okay, so some hot milk, preferably something like oat milk, because oat is very relaxing in the nervous system. Start off with about a teaspoon of nutmeg, mix it in, a little bit of sprinkle of brown sugar, because the brown sugar is the carrier to get the nutmeg system faster, bit of glucose. And that works as a natural sleeping tablet. Now, you can't take more than a teaspoon, but just you get mad, crazy, hallucinogenic dreams. So if you're into that, go for it, knock yourself out. But roughly about a half teaspoon should work. And that should start to regulate your sleep. When your sleep becomes regulated, and then you can kind of ease off from that. Or make banana tea is another one, which is great for kids because it's quite sweet. Chop a banana, boil it, the water that's left over, drink it, full of melatonin.
Are you doing the skins or are you just doing the banana fruit itself?
So get the whole banana,
Yes.
give it a scrub, just in case any pesticides on it, chop it into 2 or 3 pieces, put it into a pot with about a mug and a bit of water, let it boil down to a mug, take out the banana and pour the juice into a cup, full of melatonin, drink that. Especially for babies, for mixing it with the milk and things like that. Full of melatonin, you'll be asleep within an hour.
I absolutely love this. I'll tell you what, Tracy, I literally could stay here for hours and hours and hours.
I got a class,
You've got a class to go back to. I was told not to leave without having a chat with Tracy. I just want to say thanks so much for coming on
You're
the
welcome.
podcast.
I could talk all day. This sounds fascinating.
Where's the best place for people to reach out to yourself? Do you have an Instagram or a Facebook?
Yes. So we have a website, www.bodytree.ie. The Facebook is Bodytree Community Clinic. We have Instagram, Bodytree College and Clinics. My number is 086 355 7974. We're in the Urban Co-op every Friday from doors open 10 a.m. to last walk-in at 6:30. Doors close at 7:30. We're hoping to extend that to the Thursday now come shortly. Other than that, go find us on Facebook and Instagram, send us a message, come and visit us, pop in and say hello. We always love to see new faces. And as you can see, we could all, I'm not on my own here, you should meet the other therapists. So on a Friday, we all talk as fast as I do.
Well, it's great. It's great to meet people that are really passionate about what they do. And
I love it.
Yeah, and you can tell that. You can tell by literally having a conversation with you for 5 minutes. I was there before we started pressing record. I was like, quick, come over here before we say it, and then I don't, what are we going to miss?
I was away on holidays for 2 days. I was sitting on the beach reading the book about the endocrine system, and my partner's like, seriously?
You live it, you breathe it, and it's
Oh,
you love it. It's in a nutshell. Well, and I always finish.
Thank you so much for taking the time.
No problem at all. I love this. We're both in the same boat there.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Stay tuned, stay classy, and keep it organic.
So let's go.